Welcome to Hook and Loops. I'm EJ Hart. Today I'm crocheting the Moses Basket. The tools that I am using are 1-inch wide fabric strip, t-shirt yarn. 100% cotton is best. Cotton fabric mixed with spandex will not curl like t-shirt yarn curls up. 10mm hook, Yarnology from Hobby Lobby, measuring tape, scissors, and 4 stitch markers. I got this fabric from Joann's, and I got 97% cotton and 3% spandex. And when I got it home and cut it, I see that it doesn't curl up. So if you go to the fabric store, don't get cotton and spandex mix because it won't curl. So I cut my fabric strips to 1 inch wide. And I'm using a 10mm hook, Yarnology from Hobby Lobby. And I've got 4 stitch markers. I'm going to start off by forming a slip knot. And you just hold the strip like this, making a loop. Flip the loop over and pull the long end through that loop to form a slip knot. Insert your hook and pull on the long end to tighten. I'm going to make a tight chain of 20. So you just yarn over and pull that through the loop that's already on the hook. And you do it 20 times and make this chain fairly tight. If you're using a fabric that doesn't stretch like sheet yarn, then make it pretty tight, but make sure you can also put your hook back into the chain. Okay, now you want to measure your chain, and you want it to be about 9 or 10 inches long. If your chain is shorter, then go ahead and chain a few more. Or if it's too long, then undo a couple of chains. Now we're going to skip that first chain stitch right there. We're going to go into the second chain stitch. So put your hook through the chain, hook onto the yarn, pull it up, yarn over, and pull through both loops for a single crochet. Okay, we're going to put in a stitch marker at that first single crochet that we made. And then you're going to put in 1 single crochet into each chain stitch until you get to the slip knot at the end. Make the single crochets just a little bit looser because we're going to put in knit stitches into the middle of the posts. So we want to be able to get our hook back into the posts. I'm speeding up the video until I get to the end of the chain. Okay, now I'm at the end of the chain. I've got 1 more single crochet to put in. And this right here is the slip knot. I'm just going to loosen it up just a little bit, and I'm going to put in 3 single crochets into that 1 space. And I need to put a stitch marker into the last single crochet that I just done. Okay, I'm going to put in 3 single crochet into the space. There's 1, 2, and 3. And I'm going to pull on the tail to tighten the slip knot back up. Now I'm going to work on the other side of the chain, and I'm going to put in 1 single crochet in each chain space on the other side. Just going to insert my hook into the next chain space and put in a single crochet. 1 single crochet into each chain space until you get to the end of the chain. I'm going to speed the video up until I get to the end of the chain. I've got 1 more single crochet to do, and now I'm at the end, and I'm going to put in a stitch marker into the last single crochet. Okay, now the next stitch was a chain stitch, and we're going to work into that space right there and put in 3 single crochet. There's 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to skip that first single crochet, and I'm going to go into the next single crochet. I'm going to go into the post, and I'm going to put in a knit stitch or a waistcoat stitch. So you put your hook into the post, into the middle of the post. So sometimes you might have to feel around and try to find the middle. So insert your hook into the middle of the post, hook onto the yarn and pull it through. Yarn over and pull through both loops for a knit stitch. And we're going to put a stitch marker right here. Insert 1 knit stitch into each single crochet until you get to the stitch marker on the other side. I'm going to speed up the video until I get to the next stitch marker. I'm at the end of the row and I've got one more to do, so I'm going to take out my stitch marker and I'm going to put in one knit stitch into the middle of the post, and I'm going to reinsert my stitch marker. This way I know when to increase my stitches on the ends. In the next single crochet, we're going to put in 2 knit stitches. There's 3 of them, and we're going to put in 2 in each, so we'll have a total of 6. So you'll have to find the post and put in 2 knit stitches. Okay, find the next post and put in 2 knit stitches. Okay, find the next post and put in 2 knit stitches. Okay, our increases are over now. So I'm going to take out the stitch marker and I'm going to put in 1 knit stitch to the next post. And I'm going to reinsert my stitch marker. Okay, I'm going to put in 1 knit stitch into each post until I get to the next marker. And I'm going to speed up this video until I get to the next marker. Okay, I made it to the stitch marker and I'm going to reinsert my marker into the last knit stitch that I done. And for the increase, I'm going to put in 2 knit stitches into each of the stitches in the post. So here's 1, 2 in that same post. Then I'm going to find the next one. And here's 1 and 2 to the same post. And I'm going to find the next one. 1, 2 into the same post. Okay, now I'm at my stitch marker, so I'm going to stop the increases from here to here, we will do 1 knit stitch in each stitch, in each post. And you want to remember to insert your stitch marker. And I'm going to speed up the video till I get to the next stitch marker. Okay, I made it to the next stitch marker, so I've got one more to do. And I'm going to reinsert my stitch marker. Okay, and for the increase, I'm going to put in 2 knit stitches into each post. So there's 1, 2, and then go to the next post. Put 2 in one post. There's 1, 2, and then find the next post. 2 in each post. Here's 1, 2. Go to the next one. 1, and 2, and go to the next one. There's 1, and 2. Okay, and looks like I have one more. So 2 in the next one. 1, and 2. So that's the end of my increases. Okay, from stitch marker to stitch marker, I'm going to put 1 knit stitch into each post. And don't forget to reinsert your stitch markers. I'm going to speed the video up till I get to the end of the stitch marker. Okay, now I'm at the end and I've got one more to do, and then I'm going to reinsert my stitch marker. Okay, and I'm going to put 2 knit stitches into each post until I get to the stitch marker, which I should have inserted, but it's not there right now. There's 1, 2, and go to the next one. There's 1, 2, and go to the next one. 1 and 2, and then go to the next one. There's 1, and 2, and the next post. There's 1, and 2, and the next post. That's where my stitch marker should be. So I've got 2 more and 1, 1, 2 in the same post. Okay, now from stitch marker to stitch marker, I'm going to put in 1 knit stitch into each post. And that's where you should have placed your marker. I'm going to speed up the video till I get to the marker. Okay, I'm at the stitch marker and I have 1 more to do. And I'm going to reinsert my stitch marker. So now I have to start doing the increases. This time for the increase, I'm going to put 1 in the next one, and then I'm going to put 2. And then I'm going to put 1 in the next one, and then I'm going to put 2. I'm going to follow this all the way around. So the next post gets 1 knit stitch, and then go to the next post and put in 2. There's 1, 2 in the same knit stitch, in the same post. Go on to the next one and put in 1, and then go to the next one and put in 2. There's 1, 2 in the same stitch. Now go to the next one and put in 1. Okay, the next one gets 2. There's 1 and 2. Okay, the next one gets 1. And the next one gets 2. There's 1. And 2 in the same stitch, in the same post. The next one gets 1. And the next one gets 2. There's 1 and 2. And 1 in the next. Okay, let me find where my marker should be. Okay, my marker should be right here in this next one. So from stitch marker to stitch marker, it's going to be 1 knit stitch in each post. I'm going to put in my stitch marker. Okay, and you can work your way around to the other end and do the same thing to that end. So from stitch marker to stitch marker on the straight part, it's always going to be 1 knit stitch in each post. Every time you do the increase, you add 1 more single knit stitch, so the next round will be 2 knit stitches in 1 post, 1 knit stitch in the next 2 posts. Repeat until stitch marker is reached, indicating the increases stop. The next round is going to be 1 knit stitch in the next 3 posts, 2 knit stitches in the next post after that. Repeat until you reach the stitch marker. The next round after that will be 2 knit stitches in 1 post, 1 knit stitch in the next 4 posts. Repeat until you reach the stitch marker. Stop when the bottom of the basket is about 7 to 10 inches wide. Consider subscribing to Hook and Loops. Just click the icon and click subscribe. And thank you for watching.